Caduceus. Okay, we're going to talk about that and its ideology. And from the Luciferian lens points, the Caduceus, the twin serpents, the Duma and the Dihak rising within you, the Kundalini, but from a Luciferian, okay? Now, this is not borrowed from Hermes. It actually is reclaimed and reinterpreted. And Michael W. Ford has done a lot of that. Now, the core meaning of, at its heart, I guess, is the Luciferian Caduceus represents consciousness ascent through opposition. That's right, opposition. The twin serpents, dual forces within self. You got the light, you got the shadow, you got the reason, you got instinct, you got order, you got chaos, you got constraint and rebellion. Dual forces. But unlike moral dualism, Luciferian's ideology does not seek to destroy one pole, but to command both of them. Remember, command. The staff, the axis of will. It's the self-sovereignty. The serpent's rising is awakening intelligence upwards through experience. Then the wings, okay, is when they're present, is gnosis, liberation, and self-deification. Lucifer, as an archetype, is the light bringer of forbidden knowledge. Okay, we've discussed this a lot in my last ones, but through illumination, when it's gained, transgression is imposed by limits. Luciferian Caduceus, it encodes mastery of internal contradictions, evolution through challenge. Knowledge is earned. It's not granted. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to earn it. Now, with the Set energy and the Setian philosophy, Lord Set is the adversarial current. The ideology of Lord Set is not chaos. We talked about this. It's the sense of disorder, but it's necessary for disruption. Okay, it's the friction. It's the true function, really. Set is the representation of isolation of the consciousness that stands apart from the cosmic current. Resistance to stagnation. Okay. Yeah, Set is the cosmic adversary. He's not evil. He's the force that prevents dissolution into the unconscious uniformity. Where Lucifer brings illumination, Set provides separation and strength of selfhood. Okay. This is the great work. This is what we do. Now, Set's energy rising as Kundalini-like current. When we interpret it through a symbolic spiritual framework, Set's force mirrors Kundalini, but differs in intent, right? Traditional Kundalini seeks union. It seeks to dissolve the ego, merges with consciousness and the cosmic totality. But the sentient rising current, it wants to sharpen your ego, intensifies your individually, ascends without surrendering the self. This is also called the black flame in some cases. Now, the serpent of Set, the coiled, is at the base, okay? The adversarial will, the rising, the activation of self-awareness through conflict, challenge, and conscious defiance. We don't surrender. It doesn't surrender. It's a contrast upwards. Now, each center is awakened, but it's not dissolved. It becomes weaponized awareness. Instinct becomes strategy. Emotions become controlled power, which, still working on that. Visions become self-defined. You know, isolation of consciousness. What it really actually means is... it's the recognition of cultivation of the fact that your awareness is not identical with the systems, the narratives, the collective currents it moves through. And in this moment, when the consciousness realizes it doesn't participate in the world. I do participate in the world, but I'm not owned by it. I experience meaning, but meaning is not imposed on me. I observe my identity, but my identity is not my essence. Okay? This is internal separation, not physical exile. Now, the sentient origin and the concept of thought is Set stands outside Ma'at, not to destroy it, but to prevent from collapsing into static equilibrium. Ma'at, the cosmic order, harmony, Set, the isolated principle that prevents stagnation, okay, thus embodies the force. It's a force that cannot be absorbed into the whole. It's the self that remains self even in the presence of gods. Isolation of consciousness, is a refusal of the soul to dissolve into cosmic. Why isolation is so necessary? Because without isolation, consciousness diffuses. The mind, when a mind fully is merged with it, you got cultural identity, religious doctrine, moral consensus, emotional contagion, ideological narratives. It functions, but it does not see itself as functioning. Okay? Isolation creates distance. A distance creates what? A perception. You can't see a system clearly while you're unconsciously in it. You got the central staff, the sovereign will, the axis of will. You got the left serpent, which is Luciferian gnosis, light, insight, rebellion. You got the right serpent, the sentient power, will, isolation, adversarial strength, and the crossing, moments of conscious intention, the wings, okay, transcendent perspective, not escape. Base coil is the flame, the unconsciousness, okay, awakening. Now, yeah, I suggest everybody to do this type of work. When your consciousness realizes this stuff, you become isolated. You observe your identity, but you're not it. Like you start to see yourself outside rather than inside. It's a powerful tool for us to evolve. Now, isolation does not mean narcissism. Isolation does not mean superiority. Does not mean hatred of others. Okay, that's not what it is. True isolation is emotional sobriety. Lessons need to convince or convert, increase internal coherence. The narcissist needs a mirror. Okay, isolated consciousness does not. Narcissist needs mirror reflection. Isolated consciousness absolutely does not. I want to do another video of what each center does in the Caduceus on the adversarial current. And I will talk to you guys more about this because it's very important that you do your Ahrimanic yoga. When I was doing Ahrimanic yoga, I was getting so much interactions with spirits, revelations, like so many things were happening with that, the meditation of the rising of the twin serpents. Now, yeah, this is work that when you do, nothing changes overnight, okay? I'm not perfect. I fuck up. I constantly have to work on my emotions, constantly. But it's through experience, time, and growth and consistency that you do shift, okay? Now I will stop this video and we'll start doing the different center points, the chakras, if you would say, but on the adversarial current. All right, let's go through the center points, the energy centers. So we're going to start off with in the root. This is the crooked root. This is the awakening of the black flame. This is the base, the foundation. Now remember, we're going to be talking about the two serpents. We're going to have the Set and Lucifer's serpents, okay? Now, as a sentient role of the serpent, its function is going to be separation. The Luciferian function is the first defiance. Okay, this is coiled beneath down there. This is where the black flame stirs. The realization of I am not merely part of the order given to me. Okay? The fear and survival, instinct, anger, desire, these are not suppressed. They're not going to be suppressed. They're going to be acknowledged as raw fucking fuel. All right. Now, what's going to happen? Then there's an initiatory shift. You stop asking what is permitted, and you start to ask what's mine. You know, Set awakens instinct to stand alone, and Lucifer ignites the will to know why. Okay. Now, the serpent of desire, the controlled hunger, that is your sacral. Okay, the lower part, the creative drive. The sentient function is focused appetite. Luciferian function of the serpent is conscious choice. Desire becomes directional, not compulsive. Lust, ambition, cravings are disciplined, not denied. You choose when and how you consume, how to pursue. Now, the initiatory shift, what's going to happen is you no longer leak energy unconsciously. Okay? Hunger becomes like a strategy. Okay? Now, you're going to have the furnace of will, the adversarial power, and the solar energy center. The sentient function, will as a weapon. The Luciferian function is self-legislation. This is where the ego is forged and not destroyed. Shame dissolves, responsibility sharpens. You accept full authorship of your actions. Yes, you do. Now, what's going to happen? What's the initiatory shift? You stop blaming gods. You stop blaming systems. And you stop blaming your fucking trauma. The self becomes law. And I will tell you, this will happen, okay? You see things in a totally different perspective. The twin serpents awaken, the balance through tension. This is the heart, the axis part, okay, the point. Here, the Luciferian and the sentient currents separate. The serpent of Lucifer is the insight, the clarity, illumination. The serpent of Set is the power, the resistance, the individualism. They don't merge, okay? They coil upwards together. Now, the initiatory shift, when this happens, is you learn to hold compassion without submission and power without blindness, okay? Balance is no longer peace. It's a controlled tension, okay? Controlled tension. Now, you're going to have the adversarial mind. This is gnosis without submission. The throat, the intellect. The sentient function of this is strategic silence and command. The Luciferian function is forbidden knowledge. Speech becomes intentional. Okay? Knowledge is tested, not believed. You reject both blind faith and blind speculatism. Ugh. Initiatory shift, you speak when it shapes reality, not just to be heard. Okay? Truth becomes a tool, not a comfort. Right? Now we're going here. The eye of the isolate star, the sovereign perspective, the brow, the vision. Sentient function is cosmic isolation. The Luciferian function is illuminated perspective. You perceive systems, myths, religions, power structures from outside of them. The gods become archetypes. Morality becomes contextual intelligence. What's going to happen? There's an initiatory shift. You are no longer inside the story. You see the story. The universe is observed, not obeyed. All right? Now, the winged crown, the self-deification, the crown, the throne state. This is not unity with the all, okay? This is mastery within separation. The serpents reach equilibrium at the crown. Wings unfold, not to escape, but to see all, to see everything. The staff becomes the throne axis. You see how it's all coming together? The initiatory state. You do not dissolve into light. You stand within it, unaltered. And your self remains. All right? These are the Setian sex energy and Lucifer's serpent. 2 serpents coiling. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I did, and I'm really enjoying making these videos. Please comment and share. Tell me what you think. Remember, through this process, this is a chemical process. This is something that you just don't do a ritual and everything. No, this is something you do for a while, a long time. I always do my meditations at least once a week. Okay, and that was for me doing it many times every night. All right. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up, and yeah, stay focused, stay sharp, and continue working on this, and you will see amazing results. Quick thing to tell you is when you're working with the Caduceus, there's many different serpents that you can use, okay? You can use Lilith and Samael. You can use Dumar and Dihak, which is, that's Arimanian, okay? From Ariman in the Persian current. You can use any gods you actually really would like to and start invoking them as the twin serpents. That's the really cool part, is you can do whatever you like with this. It does not have to be a certain spirit. Set and Lucifer work very well together, okay? Very well because of the roles that they play. But so does the divine dark feminine, okay? So Lilith, one of her sisters, one of any dark, but Lilith is really the embodiment of what's the word? I'm not saying rejection, rebellion. So that's going to really help you awaken more, but it's bringing the balance in of the dark feminine energy, right? But for this whole one, it was with Set and Lucifer. Amazing benefits. Psychic abilities will improve. Your abilities for vampirism, which I'm going to be doing videos on too very soon, will heighten. Everything will start to change. Once you do this, do meditations with them too every night for a good month. That's just the beginning. If you really want to get serious, do for 6 months. Okay? All right.